If you're into catching dolphin and blackfin tuna on topwater chuggers, protecting our oceans, and keeping an eye on other boaters, don't miss this exciting episode from Marathon in the Florida Keys. You'll see what I mean in just a bit.
George Poveromo's world of saltwater fishing. Big fish don't stand a chance.
This is a story of two main items. Number one, fall fishing in the Florida Keys. Had the Mark 6 down here off Marathon in October to go after late season mahi and blackfin tuna. And secondly, and probably most importantly in the grand scheme of things, is a thing called karma, which I believe played a major role in this fishing trip.
I enjoy this time of year because the live bait starts to show back up, so we can load up on live baits and go target tuna, the few mahi that's still around, and occasional wahoo and some billfish are starting to show up too.
Met up with Ariel Medero. He and I set forth, ran right out through Moser Channel, and the goal was head to the hump, but in the meantime start looking for any signs that could lead us to mahi.
In the last, I would think 7-8 years, mahi fishing been changing slowly, and now later on the season, September, October, since like the last 2-3 years, we've been catching plenty of mahi, even better than in the middle of the summer.
We cleared Sombrero Reef Light, and the typical dolphin hunting schematics come into play. Had the SIMRAD radar on in bird mode, 3-mile outer limit to watch for birds on the screen. Of course, Ariel and I were visually looking for birds as well as any kind of debris or weeds on the water's surface. And we noticed a plankton front out around 600 some feet of water. First thing that we noticed, a lot of flying fish in this particular area. Then we came across a very faint weed line. Just enough that we decided, hey, we're deep enough. It looks like it's a good plankton zone here. Let's shut down and we'll spot troll. And by spot troll, we're talking about not putting out the 5-line spread, but rather 2 flat lines, dragging it by any kind of a fine or scattered weeds to see if any fish are there. And we're trolling, and we notice semi-submerged this large cargo net. We make one pass by the cargo net, and then bam, I'm hooked up. All right, what was that, a net or what?
Looks like some kind of cargo net.
Uh-huh.
Gotta be more than one fish there.
Oh, there has to be.
Come on.
I'm getting a little closer here. Here's our dolphin right here, alongside the boat. And he's in. And first one to the box. So Ariel said, let's get this cargo net out of the sea. It just, you could trap fish in it, but an unsuspecting boater who might not see it could run across that, get it tangled up in their props, and just have a miserable day offshore.
After we got that cargo net in the boat, put it away, and we started heading towards the hump, we saw a couple frigate birds up in the air, so we decided to troll by them, and as soon as we put the lines out, within 30 seconds, we had 2 lines out and we had 2 mahis on.
How you doing, Ariel?
Good, good. Trying to hook a third one here.
I hear you. They're
being
around.
greedy, being greedy.
You tight?
Yeah.
Beautiful frigates up high. Look at this.
Maybe the third time. Yeah, third time's the charm.
What do you think I need? A gapper or a flipper?
You let me know if you need a gap.
Ready? Inbound. And he's in there. All right. Let me grab a spinner and come join this crazy party you got going on back here. Frigates in the air, diving down, schools of dolphin all over. This is the Florida Keys that I appreciate the most. It's incredible. It does to me every single time when you hit that condition just right. Which pushed us into our next mode, grabbing any available spinner that we could find, pinning live baits on, throwing them out, hooking the fish, putting those rods in the gunnel, and just taking advantage of a school of dolphin that we now uncovered.
The Island Fish Company restaurant and tiki bar, situated on Florida Bay at mile marker 54 in Marathon, offers indoor and outdoor dining among some of the most picturesque sunsets in all the Florida Keys. Headlining the vast menu is the wide selection of appetizers and locally caught fish prepared numerous ways. Bringing in your own catch is welcomed here. Case in point, we enjoyed tuna tataki appetizers, as well as mahi and blackfin tuna served 3 different ways: blackened, fried, and almondine. The Island Fish Company restaurant and tiki bar is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly brought to you by PENN. Let the battle begin. Mako. You'll find them where the fish are. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Mercury Marine. Go boldly. George, we'll be right back.
After removing a cargo net floating off Marathon in the Florida Keys, good karma was beginning to shine down on the Mark 6. I'm fishing with Ariel Medero.
So after we felt we boated enough mahi from this one school to take care of the production team and everybody involved in the shoot, we decided to leave the school and continue on toward the hump, as we had a project that we wanted to experiment with out that way. But lo and behold, before we got to the hump, yet another school dolphin, and here we go once again with more mahi. I think pulling that cargo net out of the water certainly put us in the high gear.
On the front one down. As I do, Ariel. I just threw this off the bow so I could come back here, try some different things, and
Yeah, they're definitely being a little finicky. They're not starving like they normally would be.
So I like to keep 1 or 2 hooked up in the water, and that keeps the school around the boat, and normally you can catch more fish doing that. You know, just being a little patient, leaving 2 hooked up, which a lot of people have never done it before. They look at you, it's like, I want to get this fish out of the water. It's like, no, just leave it there, and we'll be able to catch all his friends.
Where's that little guy? Small guy. You got one?
oh, a little gaff up the upper right.
There he comes, there he comes. Right top of the head.
How do you think? A flipper or you want to stick him?
Oh, got him.
Right in the box. Check that sun resonating on him.
Dinner size.
I talked to George about doing another trip to the hump. I wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, we did the live bait thing a few years ago, and so my plan was to try to catch them on poppers. The good thing about catching them with poppers, you can go a lot heavier leader, heavier tackle, and you can be away from the hump sometimes. You don't have to be right on top of it. So we got to the hump. I think there were only 2-3 boats there, which is rare. And 2 of the boats were live baiting.
Whoa, look at that blackfin you got.
First cast.
Oh, I got to get a still shot of that. Well, that was like instantaneous. Rapala, topwater, blackfin tuna. Heck of a conversion. And that's a quality blackfin. That's not
Yeah, I mean for...
There you go. Let's get a good shot of Ariel in there.
All right. First cast out, got him on.
Solid on one. There we go. Here's our blackfin right here.
How about got for Ned?
Yeah, the gaff would be great. Oh, don't go down and get a shark. And you got him for me. Slide.
Good job. Perfect.
And you hold your breath on those sharks.
At one point, the sharks got us located, you know, so they were just following the boat.
It got so bad that the sharks just came all around the boat. In one of the underwater cams that we have, a shark found that quite attractive and came right in and chomped down on it. How they got the cams out of the jaws of the shark, I have no idea.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly brought to you by SIMRAD, 75 years of innovation in marine electronics. Rapala holds the world record for world records. Suffolk's always use the best line. Starbright Boat Care products, blending technology with performance since 1973. George will be right back.
Ariel Medero and I will be back to throwing top waters for blackfin tuna. But first, a bit on where we stay and dock at when visiting Marathon in the Florida Keys. The Faro Blanco Resort and Yacht Club is a favorite of ours, with their historic Bayside Lighthouse marking the entrance to a full-service 74-slip marina. Docking here is convenient and secure. For trailer boaters, it's less than a mile from the public boat ramp at 33rd Street. There's also a charter fleet here. The Waterfront Hotel features a pool, fitness center, and 125 rooms and suites complete with all the amenities. There's a restaurant on property and on-site parking.
So now we have plenty of mahi in the Mark 6 fish box. Now we have a good addition of blackfin tuna, and we're building. Ariel had been perfecting popping for these tuna. Sort of like what happens up in the Northeast with the pop and jig for the bluefin tunas and the yellowfin tunas, which has been really kicking into high gear as of late. Now the popping game for the blackfins is starting to catch on down here.
I think when the fish are chasing those flying fish, you get that popper on the right place. Like, you see a flying fish getting up and, tuna's on them. You get it anywhere close to him. You pop it a couple times, most likely he's gonna eat it, or one of the fish there is gonna eat it. Other times when the fish is not actually chasing a flying fish, you throw it on the area where you think the fish are. I think you gotta move it fast. Less time the fish have to look at the lures, I think it's more chance he's gonna eat it. So I like to move it, pop it, and move it, faster the better.
So Ariel wanted to try popping for these tuna. So this encompassed watching the birds flying down to the water. And once the birds were down on the water trying to hit the bait that the tuna were pushing up, that's where you had to run to. So you would sit in a lot of cases and watch. And once you saw that activity, it was right over to it, get within casting range, and throw this topwater chugger out and just make that thing splash radically. And more times than not, there'd be an explosion on it and you were tight to a blackfin tuna. You want to talk about some exciting topwater action, tuna style, it was going off for us.
Here's your tackle tip right here. A PENN Spinfisher 6, 650, 50-pound test Suffolk's 832 braid in coastal camo, a 50-pound test fluorocarbon leader, and a PENN Carnage 2 rod rated for 80 to 100-pound test braid. Why so heavy? Because you got to get these blackfins in from the sharks. And even sometimes that heavy tackle doesn't work. As soon as you think you're going to get it, the sharks are all on it.
You good?
I'm doing good. Here he comes, right here. Check that out with the plug in his mouth. Look, so cool. Oh, missed him. Give me a hard time. And you got him. All right, Ariel. Whew. Check the colors on the blackfin, the contrast with the mahi plug.
That's pretty.
Looks like a juvenile mahi, colors of blackfin. It's just, like I always said, an artist, be hard pressed to duplicate those type of colors. Yeah.
Bait is being blitzed everywhere on these weed lines. It's like, look at what's going on here. This ocean totally came to life. So what a perfect way to wrap up this hump. Just a wild blitz going on.
We get back to the dock, I do what I usually do, just jump on the cleaning table. I'm not against cleaning a boat, but I prefer to clean the fish. And have a little Papa's Pilar drink and clean fish. Can't beat it.
You got to ask yourself, as I mentioned earlier, you a believer in karma? You got to ask yourself that question and come up with your own answer.
Well, the original old 7 Mile Bridge is back, thanks to a massive renovation project. I learned about the renovation during a golf cart ride along the historic 7 Mile Bridge with Michelle Coldiron, a Monroe County Commissioner in the Florida Keys. I had to ask the Commissioner if she ever had the experience of trailering a boat across the old 7 Mile Bridge.
And there are a lot of side mirrors got knocked off.
I know.
I might have been responsible for one or two myself.
The golf cart journey continued on to Pigeon Key, where I toured the property for the first time.
You're involved in a major project of restoring the 7 Mile Bridge. For history's sake, now, what inspired you to get behind it?
So this, to many people, we consider this the 8th wonder of the world. And the bridge has such history, not only for the residents of Monroe County and the city of Marathon, but for tourists around the world who love to come to the Florida Keys, but to have the opportunity to park their car and to get out and walk across the old bridge and to be able to look out and see the water, and then to come to Pigeon Key and all of the history that surrounds it. It just made complete sense for the people in Monroe County, the city of Marathon, and the Florida Department of Transportation to want to preserve this piece of history.
The old 7 Mile Bridge in the fabulous Florida Keys is now even more famous than it ever was. We'll be right back.
George Poveromo's World of Saltwater Fishing is proudly brought to you by the Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. ACR, the leader in marine safety electronics. Papa's PILAR Artesian Crafted Rum. Never a spectator. VMC, your expert in hooks. King Sailfish, the pioneer of catch and release mounts. Visit kingsailfish.com.
So having had a very successful first day, I met Ariel on the second day. I said, what do you want to do? You want to go out, do a couple more dolphin and go play with the blackfins again? Sure. We run out, and sure enough, we hit some mahi along another strong plankton front, and from there, we ran out to the hump. This particular day, there was really nobody on the hump. So I figured this could be great. We're going to have it all to ourselves. The only other boat out there was the camera boat, which was chasing us with the production team. We get in position, we're watching our units, SIMRAD, to see where the fish are at, and also looking at the surface to see if there's any bird life. Ariel says, George, look offshore here. Look at that smoke. Is that a boat on fire? So I look, and you see just billows of charcoal black smoke going up in the air. All right, let's go get somebody might be in that water there. On the radar, it had it about 5 miles away. So we went into rescue mode at that point in time. Turned around, started racing towards the find with the camera boat hauling right behind us.
And as we got closer and closer, yeah, it was a boat on fire.
Ariel has the Coast Guard Channel 16 listening to what's going on.
Everybody that they were with is fully accounted for.
The boat was reported on fire, something about the crew is overboard, and any vessels in the vicinity to get to this find. So we're thinking, here we go. And we're racing out, just thinking we need to get these people out of the water, what's going on. So we're racing, and I see a big sport boat on the distance coming in towards that. And the big sport boat got there about maybe a few minutes before we did. And by then, the sport boat was taking the crew from the boat that caught fire out of the life raft and aboard their boat. And hearing the account on the radio, everybody was accounted for. They were all in good shape. There were no injuries, so nobody was missing. And we pull up, and this boat is just burning down at the water line rapidly. If there's ever an example to where you even thought about making sure that your boat had an ACR EPIRB, then also if your boat could accommodate it, an inflatable life raft. Because if there ever was an example, you're looking at it right now. Imagine if there were no other boats in sight and this was going on, and they did not have that life raft. Reflecting back on one incredibly exciting fishing trip to Marathon in the fabulous Florida Keys with Ariel Medero, the fall fishing, as we proved, is usually spectacular.
Well, I always recommend, people ask me, when should I come to the Keys and fish? Fishing is excellent in the Keys all year round. Nice thing about the fall, there's not as many people around. Like I said, we went to the hump and it was only 2-3 boats there. That makes a lot of difference when it comes to fishing. And it's nice just around the island, you might get a little break on your hotels and you can still go out there and catch plenty of fish.
And I believe we got everything turned around the very first morning, going back to that cargo net and putting that in the boat. I think at that point in time, that made our horseshoe turn in the upright position, and that was loaded us up with good luck. And not only did we really score fish, but we were in a position that where if we needed to, we could help somebody in dire straits.
Yeah, this is my third trip with George through the last 6 years. We've been lucky. We had a great trip every time, and I hope we get to do it again.
If you want to keep track of our fishing adventures, we welcome you to follow us on our social media. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/George.Poveromo. I'm on Instagram at George Poveromo. And you can see our shows in 4K broadcast quality on YouTube at my YouTube channel, which is George Poveromo TV. Jump aboard and ride along with us.